Malia, the quiz is on in the chat. It's open notes, so hopefully you have notes. Lele, your audio's not working. How do you know? Sing me your song. Doesn't work. Malia, was yours not working too, your audio? Oh, go ahead and restart your computer and then get back on. If you are done, I gave you an article to read about Dr. Mengele. Okay, you have about 30 seconds left. Go ahead and submit your tests. Okay, honey, pal. Alrighty, well done. Okay. All right, how's everybody doing today? Good? Who's freezing? This morning was freezing. Oh, okay, let's get started. We have an ed puzzle to watch at the end of class. Okay, so what we're gonna do is let's get into our Canvas. We are heading into the last section of night. The irony in reading night prior to giving thanks for what we have is pretty obvious. Now we're gonna move on to the role of hope. Okay, so you guys have your notebooks. Okay, I want you guys to like turn your notebooks sideways so you guys can take notes this way. Look, I'm disappearing into the ocean, drowning. Okay, there. So I want you guys to write notes in more of a mind map kind of format instead of a 2-column, just so that we can just change it up a little bit. Okay, and what I want you guys to do is title your notes reading pages 84 to 112. Okay, so we are heading towards our final section of night. How's the reading going? Pretty good? Okay, is it fast for you to read?
Well, kind of, but I take time to write notes, so I feel like it kind of
Slows down. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so in your notebooks, I want you guys to just make a mind map in one of the circles. Go ahead and write, what role does hope play? Okay, hope play in the last section of night. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm kind of giving you some guiding questions for this section. And then the second part of this is the application to today, right? What lesson of hope can you apply to your current situation? Okay, so hi Lele, we are in Canvas and we're just setting up our notebooks for this last section of reading. So there. So we're just making more like a mind map kind of notes for our last section, so you guys can kind of grab some notes and things like that. At the end of class today, we're going to watch an Edpuzzle video on resilience and how does that apply to this last section. Okay, so at the very end of this section, last week's section, we talked about, what is his name? Hang on, let's get his name right. Akiba Drummer. Okay, so let's go to page 76. Oh, do you guys have a different copy than me? Do you have this copy? Oh, okay, yeah, same. So page 76, Akiba Drummer shows up in the story. This would be one example, right, of how when the prisoners lose hope, right, when they start having that mental dialogue of, I can't go on, it's over, they're really heading for despair, right? And despair is more than just sadness, it's the loss of hope. I was last night I was searching for a TED Talk on hope and despair, and there are a couple TED Talk videos on hope and despair, but I didn't feel like it was appropriate for you guys because it at the end it was like it got political, and so I was like, nah, I'll just talk to you guys about hope and despair. Okay. And sometimes I see hope and despair in the last, like, what, 6 months we've been, doing school like this, right? I think some of you guys can kind of see it also in your classmates sometimes, or maybe even in your teachers, right? That we are constantly battling this idea of hope, right? Oh, maybe one day we can go back to school, or I hope people are taking care of themselves, right? And then there's times where we might dip into despair, right? Quite interesting. I am by no means trying to make that parallel with what happened, the tragedy of the Holocaust, but I think what we can do is at least try to empathize. Yeah, try to empathize with what happened in those camps and how did they manage to survive. I think that was one of the biggest questions for me was, how did these prisoners survive this, right? And would I be tough enough to survive, right? Very sad. Wow, we're having a really wonderful conversation this morning. Okay, so anyway, also let's go to page 84. Okay, so at the end of page 84, they're leaving Buna. Okay, and it's very interesting, right? They had to clean up. Why? Okay, why? Why did they have to clean up?
Because the what is it called? The commanders or leaders wanted the liberators to know that men lived here, not pigs.
Yeah, but why? What is the whole point of cleaning up the place before they left? Anybody? Yes, Tahani.
Because they said that you have to let them know that men live here and not pigs.
Right. Why? What's what are they, what was the purpose of that? So,
For the liberty of the army.
okay, so the liberating army was actually like the Allied forces coming in, right? Um, very interesting. They still wanted to keep, yes, McKenna, please talk to us.
Maybe they had to clean up the camps before um, the other group of people came in, so that I guess the other people that were coming in didn't really know what they're getting themselves into. Like maybe seeing all the like dried blood everywhere. Or maybe if they saw that, they'd get prepared. So they wanted to clean everything up.
Oh, I'm glad we're having this conversation. Yeah, so yes, Tahani.
Wait, I just have a question. So everyone like around the world, or at least all in Germany, knew that this was happening? Like death camps? Okay, so the liberating army would they often visit the camps? Like, I don't understand.
So the word liberating means to free, right? And so this was the opposition coming to liberate the concentration camps, to free, right? So like England and France, right? And then at a certain point, the Soviet Union, right, came in to start liberating these Nazi or these concentration camps because they knew it wasn't right. Now, all over the world, certain people knew. The United States really delayed in their response because they weren't really clear of what happened, but they kind of knew. Okay, anybody watch The Crown? It's on Netflix. Yeah, if you're like an over 40-year-old lady, I'm sure you would want to watch that as well. But I mean, it's just it's so interesting because the response to the Holocaust, was so delayed. I mean, it took them 5 years to liberate, right? To hand over the unconditional surrender, right? So the liberating army was trying to track down the Nazis, right? Trying to free the prisoners from camp. And each time yes?
The Nazis knew that they were coming?
Yes.
And would they like fight?
So that's where the death marches started, right? They tried to flee because they were trying to not make it public, right? Because why would you, right? And that's why this book is called Night, right? The things happened at night. The burning of the bodies happened at night. Why? Because they wouldn't be able to see the smoke coming out of the chimneys of the crematoriums, right? The death marches that are about to happen, right? So they're leaving, right? Look at the bottom of 84. It snowed on and on, right? So what they're doing is so how do I explain this? In the very beginning, I showed you guys that video that you watched in Edpuzzle where the Nazis expanded their territory, right? And they took over. And there was Nazi camps, concentration camps throughout. And so what they had to do was they had to pull their forces back into Germany. Does that make sense to you guys? Right? The concentration camps weren't just in Germany, right? They were all over. And so once the Nazis started retreating back in to Germany, right? They were running away from the liberating army, right? And so they had to clean up to kind of erase what happened or what was happening in those camps. Okay, so everybody clear now. on what that was. I'm glad we kind of cleared that one up, because then it didn't seem like anything almost. I don't know. I think you guys missed that mark. Lele, you want to add anything to this? No? Malia? Okay, so there's one other thing that I want to point out on page 84, and that is the detail of foreshadowing. Can you find it on page 84? So as you guys know, foreshadowing is the hinting as to what is going to come. So what detail can you find that would be foreshadowing? Yes, Urkel.
Is it it seemed as though an even darker night was waiting for us on the other side?
Yes, why would that be foreshadowing?
Because the word seemed, and the other side kind of shows that it, like, where is where they're going to, heading to.
Okay. And what phrase of that sentence, Malie, what phrase in that sentence says that, I guess, worse days will be coming? Or their future is going to be even.
It's like was waiting for us on the other side.
Okay. Okay. I'm looking at the phrase, an even darker night was waiting, right? An even darker night, not like, usually it's like, sunshines and rainbows and unicorns and blah, 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 right? But the tone of this sentence is haunting, right? Okay. Usually when the gates of something opens, it should feel hopeful, right? It should feel hopeful, right? The gates of the camps open. Yay, right? And then Elie Wiesel follows up with this incredible sentence. It seems as though an even darker night was waiting for us on the other side. Unreal. I don't know. Every year when I read this, I can't imagine him writing this, because it must have been such a painful experience. And yet he's writing these beautiful lines of this horrific experience. Yeah. Okay, so let's do that. Let's move on. I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about that. Does anybody else have anything to add about this last reading? Yes, okay.
Oh yeah. So he said that after the war, so when they were leaving from the liberators, and his dad said that they should go with the evacuators instead of staying in the infirmary. And then later he learns that the people in the infirmary ended up getting saved. I can just imagine that feeling of being saved.
So you wonder, even like in what we do in our normal lives, yeah, like sometimes there's forks in the road, and which side do we choose, right? Unreal, right? And then you have to get philosophical about those forks in the road, right? Like, well, maybe that wasn't my time, right? And then you're like, well, maybe it was my time and I didn't choose, right? But they didn't know, right? They had no idea. What would you guys have done? Lele, what do you think?
I think I would have stayed in the infirmary
Mm-hmm.
because at that point I would probably just want to die.
Yeah. Only to get saved, which is really ironic. Very interesting. What else? What else was surprising about this section? Check out your notes. What else did you find that was like, What's up with the young French woman? Okay. Somebody talk about the people, the young boys in the camp that had to help the commandos. Yes, Lele.
So I have a question about the way that it's run. So there's commandos and there's pipos, but aren't they all Jewish people? Like, are they not?
No.
Was it?
So the people that are running the camps are Nazis, correct? Okay. And then the pipos, from what I understand, are the young boys that are coming up the ranks, right? They're being indoctrinated into saying that this is the right way to do things, right? So there was that interesting part about the pipo that was hanged. And I don't know if interesting is the right word, right? But he and like 2 other prisoners were accused of stockpiling or hiding the weapons, right? And he remembers how sad that was because he wasn't heavy enough to be hanged. And at the end of that, what's really sad is that the soup, what did the soup taste like that night?
Corpses.
Yeah. Not sure if that's true or not, but wouldn't put it past them, right? Too bad. I gave you guys the link to Dr. I think his name is pronounced Mengele. Yeah, very interesting. And I keep saying the word interesting, but it's really not interesting. It's more like horrifying, but he was the new doctor, right? The angel of death. He's the guy who decided who would live and who would die. But he also did those experiments on people, right? Injecting people and then also like studying twins. So crazy. Anyway, he pops up in the book as well in Ellie's story. Okay. All right, let's move on. So let's go into our canvas today. And we're going to move on to the next part of your module. So I've given you a CER for this week. We're going to talk about the father and son theme. So there's many moments in the beginning of this memoir that Ellie and his father are interacting, right? And so the directions here is that you're going to create a Google Doc, and let's start that already so that we can have that. So let's go into Google Docs, and then you guys can go ahead and select the template for the MLA format. Okay, and then go ahead and set your share settings to anyone with the link can comment. Okay, and then let's go ahead and copy and paste the prompt into your Google Doc.
And you said you wanted it to be in MLA format?
Yeah, so I would just select the template. Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to kind of go over this question because the word dynamics pops up. And I think you've heard that word before, right? The dynamics was interesting in the room, right? When you feel like maybe there's tension in the room, or maybe there's a cast of characters, or really interesting, conflicting personalities, right? You guys know what I'm talking about? The word dynamics. Yeah. So it says the prompt is from pages 3 to 84. There are examples of the theme father and son. Explain how the dynamics of the father and son relationship caused Ellie and his father to survive during their time in the concentration camp. Provide 2 details to support your response. So at the bottom, what I did was I copied the definition of what dynamics means. Okay, so it says the forces or properties which stimulate growth, development, or change within a system or process. So their relationship, let's talk about it just so that we're all on the same page. What is their relationship like, Ellie and his father? McKenna, what is their relationship like?
I think now that they're in this camp, their relationship definitely has grown stronger. Because when his dad was about to be taken away from him, and he thought that I think that was when he realized how far he couldn't make it without his dad, and I think that bond they just had was really tormenting because the pain of like losing your parent is just, I guess, unforgettable.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, I think I totally outed myself when I said that an over 40-year-old lady watches The Crown on Netflix, but both of my parents are still alive. Yeah, so for Ellie to have lost his mother at such a young age, and then like is going through this hell with his own father, I mean, that's like a lifeline. Yeah, Tahani.
And it also reminds me of like, you know how in families, the guys in the family are like, they get along all the time and they're like, oh, it's the women, we don't understand them, you know? But then when they got taken away from them, it's like, oh, we actually have to take this seriously. Like guys in the family usually like play around, but like it's really serious, you know?
Yeah, I mean, life or death, basically, right? So, okay, there's other words that I'm trying to lead you guys to say. How would you characterize their relationship? Lele, go ahead.
I think that they refuel each other's hope that it'll get better, because it's like one is living for the other. They don't want to leave each other behind. So I think that kind of helps them get through the camps.
Okay, cool. So as we're talking about this, I would just type some of these things down so that at least you have some ideas to go with, because this is a huge range of pages. So really when I'm testing you guys, I'm assessing you guys, is that you guys can select the most effective or the most powerful quotes to help prove your point, right? So as you think about their dynamics in their relationships, yeah, what makes their relationship, it grows in this way, what is it like, right? You guys can select a multitude of things to say about their relationship, and then on top of that use different details to support what you're trying to say. Okay, so does everybody understand what I'm assessing? Okay, can you pick something that says this is what their relationship is like, that causes them to survive, and these are my 2 details, and then I'm going to explain it. Okay, we are past the point of like me giving you an outline. If you need to do an outline, do the outline, right? If you need to just write some ideas down and then type it and then revise it, awesome. Okay, this is basically like a 20-point assignment saying that, Kumu, I know how to do a CER. I can answer this correctly. But what I want to see from you guys is another level of thinking. Okay, I want you guys to say, you know what? I think the dynamics of the relationship is rooted in what? And then go forward from there. Okay. Malia, what do you think about their relationship?
I was gonna say like they understand each other, like not because of their situation, I guess, but because they're family, they kind of get each other. Because in one of the pages, I don't know which one it was, but someone cried and it landed on his hand, I'm pretty sure. And they were like not saying anything because they knew they got each other, and they were like, we're not gonna bring it up because we understand that this is happening and stuff.
Mhm. So there's also mistakes that the father made early on, right? What were some of the mistakes that comes to mind with this, with their situation? It happened early on. Does anybody remember? Yes, McKenna.
Oh, sorry. I don't know
Or
if it's early on. This isn't a section that we read, but I think one of the mistakes, or yeah, the father did was, I guess, not sticking up for his kid when he was getting beaten and whipped.
Mhm.
I know that if my kid was, being abused by these people, I would have, at least done something. But I think the dad just stood there in shock, and I don't blame him because he was just, I don't know, it was just something that I would, yeah.
Hard to swallow, huh? Yes, Malia.
There's also like there's scene where he's like, I don't know what's happening, but his dad might die, and he's saying like he might be happy about it because he can take revenge for it.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting how he would be happy because he died just so that he can have revenge over them and feel anger for them.
Mhm. It's a very complex relationship, and that's why I use the word dynamics, because is it a respectful relationship? Is it a relationship that's based off of maybe family values? Okay. And yet there seems to be maybe a disconnect, right? Like a normal, my dad is dad and I'm, a teenager, right? But early on, the dad had a chance to apply for the immigration papers, right? And Ellie couldn't understand why his dad didn't want to make that move, right? And so the word animosity comes up. Do you guys know what animosity is? Oh, Kez looking it up. Very good. What is it?
Strong hostility.
There might be hints of that, right? Have we ever had animosity where we like hold feelings of like anger towards somebody if they did something wrong to us? Maybe, right? And then you just like wait till I get you back, right? That's animosity. And so I think when Ellie is having a hard time understanding why his dad didn't fill out those papers, and now he's in that they're both in the situation, and now his whole family, right, is in that situation. What do you do, right? And now it's life or death. So that's why the word dynamics is is actually the accurate word for this prompt, because it's not all rainbows, right? And it's very complex because there are outside forces pushing them to be able to work together and keep each other safe. Okay, so any questions on that? What I'm kind of concerned about at this point in the year is that you guys can dive into a rubric and say, this is how I'm going to earn my points. So let's go ahead and go to the rubric. Can everybody see the rubric? I think you have to scroll down. Got it? Okay. And so if you look, the claim, I need you guys to make sure you have those keywords in your claim. So what are the keywords in the prompt? Okay, that you need to make sure you have in your topic sentence. in your
Dynamic.
claim. Okay, dynamic, thank you. What else?
Theme.
Theme,
Relationship.
very good. Okay, and probably survive. Yeah. Important that you mention father and son as well. Okay, but make sure you answer the question, right? And how would you answer the question, right? So make sure in your claim you also have, right, in night, right? A memoir by Elie Wiesel, right? There are examples of the theme father and son, right? I need you guys to make sure that you guys are responding to the prompt with the key words. Why? Because when I think about your research papers, if you don't have the thesis, remember, then your whole paper falls apart. Okay, so we're going back to answering the prompt. Okay, very good. Let's hit the next button. Make sure you go through that the rubric. Okay, let's do this. You guys should have notes. Okay, this is going to be only open, so you might want to write this down in your planner. It's only open till, I believe, tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow. So I'm going to give you time right now to upload your notes right now. Okay, so if you need to take a picture with your phone, or I don't know, how do you guys do it? Do you guys use your phone first and then you email it to yourselves? How do you do this? Okay. Do you use your computers? No. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. 10 points. You should have 5 quotes from the first section, 5 quotes from the second section.
And then I just have a question about the notes for this section.
Yeah.
For the map, do we just like put ideas anywhere that we find?
Yeah, so the questions for the details of hope, that will just kind of branch off like a mind map. Yeah. So what I would do is like put them in like numerical order, going like whatever way you want to go, counterclockwise, clockwise. Okay. Okay, how's it going? You guys almost done? Did you guys finish? How long does that take you? It's pretty quick. Okay. So, did you guys look at your calendars? Do you know how many weeks we have until Christmas break happens? I know. Okay. So, when I look at this, when I look at our schedule, okay, we're gonna have an exam for our final, but it's going to just be a multiple choice open notes kind of deal. Okay, because we should practice taking a final exam. Okay, so your final exam is going to be on night. I'm telling you guys this now so that you guys can write it down. Okay, night, and night MLA format. Okay, and then probably a short section on the glass castle. Okay, also, I don't know how we're going to do this, but I'm going to have you, we don't know what's happening, right, for next semester, right? But at the end of this semester, I would encourage you to return the books that we've already read, right? So like Glass Castle and Night, let's go ahead and return it at the end, during finals week, so that we can move on. Okay, then that way also need to set up a pickup for other books as well. So you guys still have your Lord of the Flies book though, correct? Okay, cool. All righty. And then your first day came for poems, that should be done already, yes? Okay. You guys got to revise that second draft, okay? If you look, like we have I think one more week and then it's finals week. This week. next week, and then finals week. That's crazy. Let the overeating continue for holiday season. Anybody had the cranberry sauce in the can? Yummers. Anyway, so what we have here is we have a very short amount of time until we're done with our semester, which is kind of nice. I think I kind of ran you guys hard in the last couple weeks with reading so many pages of Night. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just give you time to get your CER done and also to watch the Ed puzzle. So let me get to my Ed puzzle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure you have, because I think what I can do is, okay, in the chat, okay, it should be there. Can you guys click on that? And then I just want to see what it looks like from one of your guys's. Malia, could you share your screen with me so I can just see what that looks like? Can you get into your Ed puzzle, the resilience? Is my hat on backwards? Okay, perfect. Okay, very good. All right, so because we're almost ending the quarter, okay, I'm gonna give you guys time to do this and then even start your CER and then finish reading, okay? Make sure that you're ready to talk about hope, okay, at the end for next week. Okay, so go ahead, make sure you are ready to talk about hope and what that is like, okay? Oh, this is a really sad section of Night. Can we make some predictions before we leave today? Okay, who wants to start? Okay, did you finish the book already? Okay, just checking. Lily, what's your prediction?
I finished the book, so I know it's.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Malia's like, Tehani.
I think the dad is gonna die.
Oh,
Hopefully not, though.
hopefully not.
I assume that by the end they'll be free as a resolution to the book.
Okay. So, McKenna, what about you? Prediction?
It's not really like a prediction, it's just like a wish. I really wish that, or I hope that Elle finds his faith back, puts his faith back in God toward in the end of the story.
I always like hearing from you because you're so faith-based, and I love that about you. Yeah, I think that would be my hope too, that something this tragic or that this intense will not win over his, hopefully his devotion or his like commitment to his God. Yeah, whatever religion he has. I mean, like, because you can see he's starting to lose that faith, and it's kind of sad. Like, it makes my heart hurt a little bit, you know. Okay, Malay, anything?
I really don't know because I don't want to say it's gonna get worse, but I don't want to say it's gonna get better because it can also get worse from
Right.
what they.
Right.
not
So again, if it gets too intense, what you would do is just turn the page. Okay. Yes, McKenna.
Isn't there like a trilogy, like a 3-part story to this?
Yeah, I actually have that book in my classroom. So if we go back, you're more than welcome to read it. It's like, it's pretty thick, but yes, you're right. Um, I think you can find you. I'm sure you can find it on the internet too. So, gosh, that sounded really old. I'm sorry. You look on the internet. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'm not going to waste your guys' time anymore. Let's complete this class period with watching the Ed puzzle, so you can complete that, and then you guys can start your CER or tackle the reading. Lele finished already, so she's probably going to just finish her CER. Okay. And then for next week, I think what I'm just going to have you guys do is just do an essay on hope. So that's why I want you to prepare for that, okay? So let's make sure that you guys have all your quotes ready to go for hope, the idea of hope, okay? All right, you guys, it is 8:47. You have assignments to do on your own. And yeah, have a great Monday. Email me if you ever need help, okay? Bye. Yes.
I just wanted to let you know that I finished my revisions
Okay, good.
essay, so I turned that into the final draft.
Perfect. Perfect. So did you see where I was like commenting on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I forgot about the outline.
Yeah.
And
I
when
was
I
like,
started-
McKenna, what's going on here?
I was just so excited to go on break. But
Yeah. It's all good. I think once you move past this, then like your next essay will be super easy for you. So
Yeah.
just yeah. Yeah, all good. Thank you for your your input though, your insight. That I mean, like I can't wait for you to talk when you like share out, just because I just know you're gonna say something flipping brilliant. So yay, yay you. Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.